So today I'm at the NIGHTHAWK, guys. This is just going to be a little intro clip to all the kind of projects that I'm going to be showing you here, guys, because I realized after recording all the footage that I have no real explanation or intro video. But this clip will be far after a lot of the stuff you guys are going to see. But basically the project here, let me show you guys real quick. This boat, I got it a couple years ago. I've been working on it for a few years now. When I first got it, it needed quite a bit of work in some areas. Essentially, when I got it, it was red. A bunch of other things, but the biggest project, some of the biggest projects we did, which we're almost at the end of those projects now, was we glassed the bottom. So everything you see, we're doing a little section there, that's the shaft log, we're glassing that now. You guys will see that in a video as well, but that's almost done. But you can see this whole area, basically forward of the rear strut there, all the way up to right where that's our water intake for the engines. That is all brand new glass. We did a single layer 1708, which you guys will see the whole process when it goes from original sanding off the green bottom paint that was on here, exposing the wood. We even had to pull fasteners, which I have a couple clips in there explaining that, but I didn't really show that process. But and then after we pulled the fasteners, I got the Coast Guard to check off everything before we wanted to put the glass up. We started the glassing process, which started off with basically sanding everything down, like I said, making sure it's nice and smooth. Starting with a stick-up coat, which you guys will see, then laying the 1708 on, and we lay it on wet. There's tons of ways to do it, but we just decided we like to lay it on wet, especially when working overhead. I'm by no means a professional, but I kind of just wanted to record all these processes just to have as my own personal video log, but I figured why not add a little bit of an explanation to them and upload them on YouTube as well. So you'll see all the different projects. The biggest one is definitely the fiberglassing we did to the bottom of this boat. Required a lot of work, a lot of sanding, all that kind of stuff. So, but that part is done now. And we also painted the boat, like I said. This is Elect Seal. We ended up going with 2 coats of the primer, which you guys will see, of course, and then also 3 coats of the top coat. And we had to go back a couple times. A couple things I didn't show, just with the extreme heat here, and it is a wooden boat still. Spots did split, and you can't really tell, but let me try to find. But like we see, like this area here, you could sort of tell this has been repainted a little bit, just because we had to, or I had to go in there and re-fiberglass some areas that unfortunately it cracked just because of the heat, and it being a plank boat, it does move a little bit. So when it moves and the fiberglass can't take that movement, it cracks. You can see that little divot there. Not my best work, but this is where we had to replace every single cleat. The back of the boat has the name on it. We had to replace every single cleat. You could see that one. Well, not every single one. We had 4 cleats we had to replace, but that happens to be every cleat that we use. So I'm just going to say every cleat. And you can see this is an area that I just am taking care of now. I'm not going to show this on any video, but basically just some blistering some really bad blistering was happening here, enough that you could push on it like a bubble. So we just sanded it, grinded it down, and re-glassed that. Right now that's just the bubble coat prior to any sanding or anything like that. But just kind of showing you all the stuff we did. But you'll see the boat's still going to need plenty of work for the years to come, but the big stuff is done. And I just wanted to have a good platform to work on, so that's kind of why we took care of all the big stuff right away. And well, the fiberglassing is something we had to take care of because the boat was just leaking. Still pretty dirty in here, but things are getting more and more organized. But just to give you guys a little explanation of some of the stuff that we did. A lot of the stuff, most of the clips you'll be seeing are before I even made this little clip here to explain everything. I figured this would be a perfect intro clip to all the projects. I'm just going to put it at the beginning of every project video, starting with the fiberglass in the bottom, which is the biggest one, and then we're going to do the paint job, which I recorded as well, and then of course I'll have probably, I don't know if I'm going to post it or not yet, but I'll have like a little mini video where we went back and glassed the shaft log, because unfortunately it ended up leaking through there, which is to be expected. It was the only spot on the entire boat that wasn't solid fiberglass, so the water found its way through. But we'll be taking care of all that. But I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll put this on the front, and also I'll be voicing over anything that needs explanation and I didn't explain well in the video at the time, which is probably gonna be a lot of stuff. I'll put a little voiceover kind of explaining what we did and why we did it. And like I said, I'm not a professional, but I do all the work to the boat myself, and we've done work on other boats before, our own boats. And I just wanted to have a log to keep everything to look back at, basically. If years to come, I'll be able to look back and see some of the stuff I did to this boat, and you know, all that stuff. So I'll leave this here, guys, and the rest you'll see. There's going to be clips coming up for different projects. Like I said, this will be at the front of the fiberglass in the bottom video, the fiberglass in the shaft log video, and then the paint job video for all for the NIGHTHAWK. So you know, you'll see all that coming up. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to leave a comment. Like I said, I just do all the work myself. You can feel free to take what you want from the videos if you are watching this, but the main purpose of these videos is just a log for myself to look back in the future, or yeah, look back later on and see what I did. But if you guys are doing a similar project yourself, maybe it'll help you out a little bit. And we'll see. But yep, if you have any questions, leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer them. But have a good one, guys. I'm going to get to work here. Almost done inside. I don't know what in the world they're doing on the keel, but they decided to nail the glass on the keel, so that's a problem. But got this side completely done. Did 150 inches today. We got the glass underneath all that white stuff. That white stuff's just a fairing to kind of smooth it out that we don't have to sand in. Did this section yesterday. This section is a little smaller, 100 inches here. And we did the fairing a little different here. We definitely liked the way we did over there better. This, we didn't quite have enough time to smooth it out, so we're going to have to sand that a little better, obviously. But that side should turn out real well. And then the other side has got to be done. We did all the chime too. That was done a while ago by us. But basically took one 85-inch piece from the chine all the way down to the keel. The keel was done by me not too long ago. That's already almost completely fair. The front keel, we're gonna sand that down tomorrow. I did that just the other day, so that needs to be sanded, and they need to put a fairing on that. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good. Okay, guys, so you can see we're just laying up the glass on the bottom here. I'll just do a little voiceover to explain things. I got a little time lapse here. But basically what we do is we start on the edge, kind of on the chime, and we use the squeegees to lay it up, and then this glass is wet, so we just essentially roll the entire sheet. This sheet here is 110 inches onto the bottom of the boat. And you can see, you'll see all how we apply the stick-up coat and stuff like that, which is all the wetness you see on the bottom of the boat there. But basically, it doesn't take too long if you do this wet method here. There's plenty of other methods to do. A lot of people do dry methods and stuff like that. But I find with the thick glass, the 1708, we had a much easier time doing it this way. So you can see we just kind of have two helpers on the side, and then myself and my dad, we just squeegee onto the bottom of the boat. And the next step you'll see, I'll show the before this actually happened, we put the stick-up coat up, which is a epoxy that is thickened with Cavasil, and it just allows the overhang application of the glass to be much easier. So you'll see that next, and then after that we should do the bubble coat. So it's a little backwards. Before we put the glass up, we do the stick-up coat, which is what you're going to see next on the next section of fiberglass we're doing. So just think of that as being before this, and then after that we'll show the bubble coat. So let's go to that. So this stuff here I'm applying is a thickened epoxy. We thicken it with Cavasil. This just helps us fill seams, and a lot of it soaks into the wood here as well, even though this particular section is already pre-coated. But we mainly use it as a stick-up coat, just lightly. You can see I try to squeeze it out, that way there's no lines and stuff, because that stuff will end up looking like bubbles and stuff under the sheets, which isn't bad, it just doesn't look as nice. But this is a very important step. Okay. I think that's where the shaft goes through. We kind of glass around it, but I'm going to glass that separately once we're done. You can see right now I'm filling some of these seams. That way, you know, I want to keep all the seams full when the glass goes over. That way it's one continuous surface. There we go. You can see this is that thickened stuff we put out on the chine here. We already glassed this part. We're just adding some of the thick stuff here to kind of, this glass is already soaked and set off, so it's not going to take any resin. We're just adding this here to fill any potential little dimples and stuff like that. Right here, let me bring it over here. You can see this is where those other sheets started. We started up here, it gives us kind of a latch on point. Same deal, this is about 100 inches right here of 1708, and we did it 100 by 85. Both sides, same thing on the other side too. The chine is glassed over as well. And then you want to bring it down real quick, Johnny. You can see all this keel is already glassed, and it's glassed to about 3-4 inches in on the planks there. That way we got some overlap, and we take this sheet all the way in to the very edge there. You can see all the white stuff, or sort of white's haze to it. That's all fairing compound that we make, that we will put on this before we leave today. It kind of allows us to stop sanding into the actual print of the glass and stuff like that. Saves some of that material, and it saves us a lot of time and effort, because sanding straight up hardened fiberglass is a lot more difficult than sanding a fairing compound, which is what we make. So here, we'll go this way real quick. You can just go up to those Tupperware containers there, John. You can see right here. So this is that bubble coat material. It's just a microsphere that's very easy to sand. And then this is a little bit of a denser compound. This is Cavasil here, so we use this as that. This is what's going on currently, and that's just a thicker, harder stuff. It's harder to sand. You can see we that white stuff there, that's a little more obvious where we haven't finished. None of it's finished sanding yet, but you can see we kind of sand a little bit here and there. But that white material you see kind of on top of the glass, that's the fairing compound. Essentially, we put that on and we sand about halfway into that and halfway into the glass, that we come to a fair, smooth surface. You can see this is another way to do it too. This section here where I glassed this, I didn't have time the day I did it to actually put the fairing compound, so unfortunately what I had to do was sand it down. We're gonna have to add the fairing compound to that, and then we'll go and sand that to a fair spot as well. So now we got the bubble coat stuff here. This is that fairing compound I was talking about. What we do is we basically trowel it on the glass. You can see here, come over here a little bit closer, Johnny. So this is the glass we just put up. You just want to wait until it's a little tacky. This, honestly, we probably could wait a little longer, but we're going to go now. You just want to wait until it's a little bit tacky. That way you don't disturb the glass too much when putting this stuff on. But we're basically just going to take it. It's pretty thick. You can see it's about the thickness of ketchup. Not quite peanut butter, but you just take it and you trowel it on. You trowel it on into the glass, kind of. You don't want to go too far, but come a little closer, Johnny. You can see the weave of the fiberglass here. We're trying to put this stuff into the weave. So this is that fairing compound. Very easy to sand. It's just so much nicer to sand than the actual fiberglass itself. And you can see once we're done sanding it all, it'll look like this. You can see this one already has been sanded close to finished. You can see the glass right there, and then in some of the deeper spots there's that fairing compound. And that's just the whole goal. We just want to make it smooth without sanding too far into the fiberglass there. So now I'm going to just set the camera up and we'll do a little bit of a video of me doing the whole bottom. Okay, so we just finished adding the fairing compound here. You can see all the white stuff here. Like I said, eventually it hardens and we sand it down and it becomes nice and smooth. Down here you can see kind of all the stuff we did. I was going to try to get a video of me putting it on, but the video wasn't working with my music, so I just decided to forget that. You can see all this white stuff here. We just basically just trowel it on, and then we will eventually sand it smooth, and then, you know, if we have to, we'll do multiple layers. We'll sand this smooth, and then if there's little divots and stuff like that, we'll add another layer to smooth it out more. But that's basically the end of it. Now this is going to sit overnight, and about 24 hours from now it'll be fully hardened and ready to sand down. And then we'll move on to the next section. We got to do the whole boat up here. So there we got all that wood. We did the other side completely. Now we just got to do this one. Okay, folks, we're back here again. This is a different day. We're working on a different section. We're on the port side right now. We just put up 7 sheets, which is quite a lot to do in one day, but that's about 100, and we do 25-inch width sheets. So that's about 175 inches, and now we're just kind of at the end of the day here doing the last step before we leave for the night. And this is the fairing step. So what we do is we take this bubble coat stuff here, we call it. It's just microspheres that are really easy to sand. And basically we mix this with resin and we thicken it to about a ketchup thicken, you know, not quite peanut butter thickness, but ketchup, that way it's nice and smooth. And this allows us to, when we come back with sanders and grinders later on, to really smooth it out and fair it out even more. We don't end up sanding into the print of the glass, and it just saves us from kind of sanding too far into the material that we use to actually strengthen the boat. But right now we're just doing this. We're about 2 sheets in so far. We got another 5 to go. We just use this thickened stuff just like this. You know, you go at this point. These sheets have been up for about 3 hours now. The sheets I'm working on now, so they're already set up pretty good. So you can press on it without. It is a little sticky still from this because, like I said, it's not cured yet. But this is the perfect time to add this thickened stuff because it allows you to skip the sanding step that would typically have to be done if you were to leave this overnight. So we're just going to continue doing this. We got a lot more to do, but this is just one of the other steps you got to worry about when you're doing this. And this, like I said, this is a pretty important step. I always try to get this done in the same day, or else you're going to have to go back and sand it all. And then put it on anyway. So if you could do it in the same day you glass, you manage to save yourself a step of sanding, which in my opinion is the hardest part. Sanding is definitely the hardest part. But that's it for today, guys. We're gonna keep working on this, and I'll show you guys on one of the next steps we got. Okay, so this is after that canvas or bubble coat step you guys just saw me do. Takes quite a while to really get it, but this basically just saves us some time in the long run, because it's a little it's quite a bit easier to sand than straight fiberglass, as it's, you know, it's a sphere, so they sand pretty easy. You can see right there, that's just where our water intake is. But now we just let it cure up overnight or the next couple days, because we won't be back here for, it's supposed to snow coming up here, so we won't be back here for a couple days. But looks pretty good, and like I said, once we get it all cured up, we'll come back and sand it similar to that stuff. That stuff back there is partially sanded. It still needs more though. But another step completed, but we still got a lot more to do on this boat. Actually, fiberglassing, we're nearly done. We just have one more spot here. We got the keel, the bottom of the keel needs to be glassed in, and then we're done with the keel and all that. So we're close, we're getting there. Okay guys, today I'm here by myself today. This is probably the hardest. This is after all that stuff you guys saw us laying the fiberglass up, putting the bubble coat on it to make it so that way it's not so much to sand. But you never really can get away from sanding. This is by far my least favorite part of doing this fiberglass work. It's not the dirtiest or anything, especially because I invested in this nice vacuum that allows me to kind of keep the dust. It's just a lot of holding the sander up overhead. It's about 3 times as hard as doing sanding down or on the side, just because you gotta hold that weight of that, you know, even though it's a light sander, you gotta hold it up the entire time. But you can see right here, this is all the stuff I haven't done yet. That's that's what the bubble coat looks like when it's done. You can see it's kind of shiny, glossy like that. And then this is I'm just doing a rough sanding job right now, but you can see this is what it looks like after I sand it down. There are, of course, spots like you can see. So this is how we want it all to look. This is how some of it looks. We're a little low there, but I'm not too concerned about that now. I'm gonna go back over that when I come back with 80 grit. But right now I'm going across the whole thing with 46 grit. But yeah, this sander does a nice job, but even then it still doesn't make it too much easier with holding it up overhead all day long. But you know, we'll be done eventually. It's still got tons of work goes into these boats, especially when you're doing something like this. But it would have been a lot nicer if it was done when it was built, because then you got it, you know, if they built it upside down, of course, it'd be a lot easier to work on like that. But they probably built it upside down, I should say. I don't know for sure, but okay, well, I'm gonna get back to it, guys. Just figured you'd some of that. So have a good one. So today we're at the boat. It's been a while since I've shown any more progress, but we got all the glass up on the bottom, and now I'm just we're getting ready to do a couple layers of barrier coat. So I think the last little clip I did was of us putting the fairing compound on top of the wet glass, but we're way past this later. Of course, we didn't get to the boat every day, but you can see this is after it's been sanded, and this is with water. I'm still going to soap it down a little bit too, just to help get all that stuff off. I mean, you can see, like, even with this wet stuff up here, like, look how much bottom. So this is still have to get hit with soap, but I'm doing this after we do the glass work. I'll soap this down a lot better to get new bottom paint on it, but that's how much stuff comes off even after it's been rinsed pretty well. But this is the other side that I haven't touched with water yet, and you'll see the difference when I come back in probably about an hour and show you guys what this looks like. So this is what it looks like without the water. Not that it looks bad, but you'll see it'll clean up a lot nicer once we get the water on it. And of course, then we let it sit for, it'll dry out within the day so we can paint tomorrow. But if not, we'll come back in a couple days and paint. The whole boat needs a good rinse, and I'm trying to stay kind of out of any of the trash from all the, that's actually not coming off too bad, which is good. But I don't want anything rinsing. The deck is very dirty, so I don't want anything rinsing down through the deck onto the fiberglass here for when we paint. So I'm gonna continue this, and then I'll probably show you guys the other side when I'm done wetting it down, and then we'll of course get the barrier coat on in a couple days here. Okay guys, so we just got done washing the bottom down. You can see it's still a little damp, but gave it a nice scrub, and that way hopefully we won't have any adhesion issues. Not that we would have anyway. This is the first time I've ever washed it down. Normally we just wipe it down with some acetone, but for such a large area like this, I didn't want to do that. So just scrub it down, make sure it's nice and clean. Then we'll come tomorrow and put some we'll put some barrier coat on it. So I'll show you guys that for sure. That's a pretty important part. That's kind of the last step before bottom paint. But you can see it's all sanded. There are going to be a couple spots that after we add the barrier coat we'll discover. It's been some of the spots you might not be able to see, even though I went over it like feels like 100 times, filling and fixing spots. But tomorrow when we see how the barrier coat goes on, and then I expect to have to fix maybe a couple spots that can actually see them when the barrier coat goes on. But hopefully it'll go well. And unfortunately the job we did on the back here didn't hold up to the sun and all that. You can see if you don't put a barrier coat on it soon enough, it turns yellow and it starts to crack. It just becomes a mess. So this is an area we're gonna have to kind of redo. I'll just rip it back down and fix it, but that won't take too long. Hopefully soon we'll have the top side paint on it and she'll be going in the water. I'll keep you guys updated, but we're gonna leave it there for now. Okay guys, we're back on the boat today, getting ready to do the barrier coat. The other day I rinsed all this down, scrubbed it down a little bit, and now we're gonna get the barrier coat on. So it's all clean all the way back there. Got the puppy here today, giving her boat and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't eat anything. But I'll keep you guys updated. Well, it's been a while, but we were here the other day, and we put the bottom paint. I think the last little clip I did was me talking about the gray paint, which I completely forgot to show you guys what it looked like after that. But essentially what we did is we did the coat of gray over the bare fiberglass that was faired smooth. We did one coat of gray, and then after that one coat of gray we waited, because sometimes even after fairing it over and over again you'll still miss little pinholes and stuff like that set up, and luckily that gray can be painted over without sanding again. So we faired the spots with the one coat, sanded that down after, like I said, adding the fairing, and then we went another coat of gray. So it's got two coats of gray everywhere, except the areas under the blocks, which we got a glass once they lift it. One coat for now. There's gonna be another coat, but one coat of this bottom paint. This is Interlux Micron CSC. It's a great anti-fouling paint. It's ablative, it's not a hard paint, but you can see it's not perfect yet, but it's definitely looking a lot sharper. We just got one more coat on, and once we put two coats, the front section here has some more anti-fouling under that. It's I don't know what it was exactly, but it's just a green that I didn't put on. It was on the boat before I got it. But the back, you can see like kind of the difference. You could see that this isn't perfectly smooth everywhere. I mean, some spots you could see some sags that we unfortunately left, but it's not perfectly smooth everywhere. Back here where we did the glass work, you could see it is like perfectly smooth. It's crazy. But anyway, it's looking better and better. And just to end the video off, guys, here's some before and after pictures. These are just some pictures of when I first got the boat. You can see the bottom before I did any stuff to it. There's after I took the grinder to the bottom a little bit. exposing the wood. Some more pictures like that. You can see where the glass they did ends. Here's a picture, a little bit of glass on the keel there, and just showing the planks, stuff like that. Some more glass on the keel there, but and you can see this is me measuring out the keel, and you can see I have the tape just to show where I was measuring from and how many pieces I needed. This is first layer of glass going up. There's glass with bubble coat on it while it's still wet. And then we got the chine there on the starboard side. And here's the bottom after some sanding. Oh, and that's also after the keel's been glassed in there too. This is after the barrier coat here. You can see this part I didn't show, unfortunately, but there's a good picture of that. And hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Like I said, I'll be uploading the other sections and work I do in the future with the NIGHTHAWK, but for now it's just the big project was the fiberglass. And at the time of recording this voiceover, we have the boat still out of the water. It was put in the water once, and we had a leak at the shaft log, which is an area you'll see in another video we're glassing, and then the rudder ports were leaking as well, so we're taking care of that. But those videos will be out eventually. For now, I'll have a lot more videos up about the NIGHTHAWK, but that's the main projects we did, and then of course in the future when we do little upgrades and stuff like that, I'll make sure to post that. But for now, we got fiberglass in the bottom, which is this video, and then we'll have fiberglass in the shaft, log, and rudder port, and then also the paint job we did on the boat. So you guys will all be seeing that, but the biggest project is definitely the fiberglass in the bottom we completed. And but if you guys ever do want to come stop by again, those videos will be up eventually. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, this is kind of just a log for me to keep for future reference and stuff like that. But if you guys did enjoy it and got some help or on projects maybe you have, I'm always happy to do that. So that'll be the end of the video, guys. Have a good day, and stop by again if you'd like.